All right, so we're here in the shop, obviously, right? And during one of the last shop updates, I did a quick kind of like scan around the whole room, but I was very quick as to not show this cage too much. And that's because I haven't actually talked about who lives in there. Like I made mention that we have it, and when I actually filmed that update, she was in there, but I haven't actually revealed who in fact lives in that cage, and I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna talk a little bit about her, because I've actually had her for a very long time, just not with me. So, and some of you guys already know about her, like the ones who like we talk to regularly or interact or have helped me out with various things. This is just her, the tub that we'll put her in while cleaning and stuff. But we're just gonna bring her right out. All right, little girl. Without further ado, this is Yang. Yang is my absolute sweetie pie. Come on. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on. Come on. And one more time. Almost. There we go. That's all of Yang. So, she is a lavender albino tiger reticulated python. I don't know where her head went. I think it's over here. Oh, where are you? Where's your head at? But anyway, so this is Yang. Where's your head? There you are, baby. Hi. So this is Yang. She is our retic. We've actually had her for a number of years, but due to some last minute changes in an animal code enforcement in the city where we lived, we were no longer allowed to legally keep her, despite everything I tried to do, be it, you know, certification, licensing, like, hey, we'll do even like a permit, like throw money at the issue, right? Like speak their language, like we'll just throw money at the problem, right? Because I have absolutely no problem. Come here, Yang. I have absolutely no problem doing that. Ugh. So this is what Brian Barczyk means by snake aerobics, by the way. Because retics like to run. Nope, you're not going into there. Come here, baby. So, while we did have Yang, we absolutely had this really cool rule, which was no snakes over 10 feet by yourself. Because while I've had absolutely no issues with Yang in the last 6 years that I've had her, we've never had any issues with her as far as food responses, mistaken identities, anything like that. But as you can see, this is a lot of snake. And so that's why we had that little rule. But, as I mentioned before, Yang was no longer allowed to be legally kept by us in our house. Am I gonna run over here? And so what we did is we had someone who was very kind enough to open up basically the entire downstairs of their house for us. And that's where she has been living all this time, off-site in someone else's house in a different city where it was legal. And I'm out of breath. And we've been taking care of her, you know, a couple times a week, going over, checking on her, cleaning her, feeding her, making sure that she's getting lots of interaction. And I'm just gonna say it right now, the person who did let me open up their house to them was actually the person that is possibly responsible for me loving animals, and that's my mom. So my mom has always never had an issue with snakes, with any animals whatsoever. Like when I would catch garter snakes at my grandmother's house, she had like a little creek that ran back, so garter snakes love to hang out there. I would take them, bring them inside, and she would say, okay, that's great. Just put them back outside before your grandpa gets home, right? And so my mom, who has always been very supportive of me, made it possible to do a lot of different things. She opened up her basement for Yang to live here. And I know I'm trying to do my best to talk about this, but I literally cannot describe to you how amazing it is that I get to have Yang with me every day now. It's absolutely amazing and wonderful, and I love her to death. Ugh. And with that being said, there's a cool little story about Yang. You know the myth that snakes can't hear, they're deaf? Well, they can hear, they just have no external ears. Come here, Yang. I need you for visual demonstrations. So, there's no external ears, obviously, but they can hear stuff, specifically vibrations and tone and low frequency sounds through the air. That's what they can pick up. And when we first moved Yang there, she didn't want to eat for the first couple times we offered her food, even smaller prey items. So I've never fed her live, and I won't either. But she didn't want to eat at all. And then one day, my mom upstairs started blaring Mariah Carey and Shania Twain and Barbra Streisand. Yang pounded 2 rabbits that day. And since then, as a bit of a testament to their intelligence, Yang knows when my mom would come over. When she is over and she would come near her, before Yang ever saw her, she would recognize the sound of my mom's voice. And she would get excited and she would start to cruise the front. She didn't really interact too much with my mom. Like when she would come down and she'd hang out and she'd give her pets and stuff. But my mom's a little lady. And so Yang is a lot for her, even with me there kind of helping. She's very heavy. You know, obviously we're keeping her lean and mean, but you know, she's still a very large, heavy snake, nothing but muscle. But she remembers my mom and gets very excited when she hears my mom. It's just absolutely insane. But I just really wanted to share with you guys, this is my one giant snake. Like, we have Fiero, the very special Burmese python, but he's never getting large. Like, he's older than Yang, and you've seen him in other videos. And I'll probably talk about him in future videos and whatnot, but he's never getting big. This is my one giant snake. Yang was meant to be my showstopper, like, you know, the guy that always brings the big albino snake. But between not being able to have her legally, as well as, if you can't tell, I think the camera can pick this up. I'm not wearing my Bluetooth. You can hear her. She's not hissing. That is her breathing. She had a very bad respiratory infection before we got her, and that's actually what she sounds like. So she actually can't be exposed to a lot of really cold temps for very long. Like, moving large constrictors like this is already very stressful for them, but she can't be out for very long, so she'll never be an ambassador, like brought to people's houses, even though she would absolutely be wonderful at that. But I just really wanted to share with you guys, wearing the Reach Out Reptile shirt, although Yang is definitely not a dwarf retic, that this is my baby. This is Yang. Never gonna breed her. She's just a pet. She's not even a good garbage disposal. Like, none of the other snakes eat rabbits. And even if like one of the large boas turn their nose up to a rat, she doesn't eat them either. So she's not a very good trash can. But she has the most amazing disposition, the sweetest personality, and I love her to death. And like, when I first brought this big cage down here, before we had moved her, because we had a big part of the moving the snakes is like, okay, if it's really cold, we can't move them. If there's a lot of snow, if they're going to be in the car for a really, really, really long time, it's been very hectic and it's been very stressful moving all these animals here. Luckily, all the snakes have done really well, but when I brought this cage down here, I was so excited. And then the first night that we brought Yang in and I put her in there, like, this cage is huge. It's 8x4, so there's lots of room, and she has a huge water basin. And then eventually, I'm working on something that I'm going to give her, like a large platform in there if she wants to crawl onto, as well as this is enrichment for her as well. And then I'm still toying with the idea of getting some substrate in there, but it's just going to be like retics. Hi, Yang. But eventually I'm going to get some other stuff in there. It's very bare bones right now, which I'm not a big fan of, but luckily Yang is a little bit easier to get enrichment with some of the other animals. As long as there's just somebody else in the building, I can pull her out. What are you doing, silly? What are you doing, silly? But that's really it. I was just so excited and so happy that I get to have Yang with me every single day again. Big snakes are a big responsibility, and that's why we only have the one, but I'm just really happy that we have her. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You got to see a little bit of humanizing from me, at the very least. I'm going to be talking about more of her in the future. Not going to do probably too much like retic-centric stuff, because while I know how to take care of her, I'm certainly not a big snake expert by any means. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you got to enjoy seeing my one giant snake, my big girl, And thank you everybody so much who has supported and viewed me and everything through now. Really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this stuff and look forward to future reptile and animal content in general. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Pretty good year as well. And we'll check you next time.